2020. Believe it or not, we are getting down there to the big one, which is Christmas, and the bigger one, which is 2021. I do recall when people were saying that they were talking about 2020. People were saying, "Hey, can't wait for 2020, man. 2020 is my year." And all of a sudden, people say, "I can't wait to get rid of 2020." But I say to you, listen up. You know, God is not finished with 2020, and there's big things in store at the same time. And 2021 will be here as well, just as 2020 is. But tonight, on the show tonight, I never planned to have a show, but because I saw some developments, I said, let me just jump straight into it in regards to the Queen's Honors birthday list. And I've seen a lot of people who recently, through my circles and my network, been coming up on my timeline, that they have received these various awards. You're talking about persons like Lurine Cato, Marcia Dixon, John Fisher, Karen Gibson, people like Shirley McGreal, Muyiwa Olarewaju, Mica Paris. Some of them I don't know, even Cary Grant, wife of David Grant. Some of them I don't know, but I said, let me just do something today. Let me call on my good friend who has been on my show from I started in 2015, John Fisher, who also got one of these awards and got his Queen system. And then he will just go through and we give a sort of narrative, a sort of breakdown as to how this unfolds. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my big brother, Sir John Fisher. Good evening, John.
Good evening, bro. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
You know, I have to call him my big brother because 1992, when I came to this country, and then I got baptized in 1993 or 95. I keep looking. I got a Bible here that tells me everything here. Tells me when I got baptized, and here it is here, 1993. May the 15th, 1993. I keep this book right on my desk. This is a Bible I had from that long time. And when I went to New Testament Church of God in Brixton, Lambeth Road, John was one of those guys that looked out for me when I became a Christian. And to this day, we still keep that relationship. So, John, listen. And of course, your dad even baptized me, Pastor Fisher. Lambeth Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, John, welcome and thank you for giving me gracing me with your presence tonight and for the short note.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. How's your day, Nia? How's everything? What's it like?
It's been a really nice day. It's been a nice day, you know, from the day started from like 1 o'clock in the morning, to be honest with you, with phone calls, with people screaming down the phone at me, John, oh, congratulations. One of the first persons was one of my colleagues who got an award, Lurine Cato. She phoned me. She was the first one to phone me to say, wish me congratulations. I was wishing her because I found out that she had got an award as well. And it's been like that all day, you know. Social media, all the social platforms have been blowing up. Well, basically, social media was on fire. The gospel social media in the UK was literally on fire today with everybody jumping on. It's the first time in I think this Black History Month, as you said. But I have to tell you and your listeners that this is probably a major historical moment where in my lifetime, I've never seen so many people from the gospel community celebrated and given accolades like this. To have so many of us receive is amazing. So, you know, I'm grateful, and that's why the gospel social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of us going up so high. My phone's been on charge all day because it's been trying to charge back up. So much messages and stuff have been coming through, you know, it just constantly keeping it on low. So while I'm on with you, I'm charging it up again so that I can carry on saying thank you to the many people who have shown me so much love.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting. And of course, myself jumping on the great wagon, I won't say bandwagon, jumping on the great wagon because I've been pushing something called Black Excellence since the whole COVID thing, looking at persons who are doing great things. You know, Patrick Vernon talked about 100 great Black Britons. And I recognize this, you know, John, that Black history and history unfolds every day. Last week was history. The work that you guys have been doing, Lurine Cato, and all the names which has been mentioned, and even before, You guys are creating history. Shirley McGreal been creating history. I don't know if Marcia Dixon has been creating history, trailing a pathway. So therefore, we cannot now just keep talking about the Rosa Parks and the Martin Luther King, which is great. And we cannot just talk about just the transatlantic slavery. We have got to now start to recognize that history is unfolding before us with persons that we are walking with. And those persons that we're walking with, they're going to be beside us, and they're actually taking us further and standing in the gap at the same time. So well done, and congratulations to everybody as well. But your award, if you can tell me about what you got, John.
Well, I was awarded the British Empire Medal,
Mm.
and this was for services to education. I have a organization called We Sing Youth, which is a music-based company where we go into schools throughout the whole of London and also into Europe as well, and present gospel music, teaching in schools from your nursery children all the way up to secondary young people. We annually put on a massive concert at the end of the school year, the summer term, where we have a mass choir of anything between 350 and 500 children per night, selling out to audiences at the Fairfield Halls in Croydon, where we've been running this concert for the past 11 years, giving children and young people from deprived backgrounds the opportunity to be a star for a day. And these kids train up and they sing, they practice, they learn the songs, and they come in their recent using t-shirts, stand in front of a sellout audience every concert and sing their hearts out. And that's where some of the new stars in music are born. And we've been doing that as a given for the past, as I said, 11 years. It's been absolutely a pleasure doing that. It's been a pleasure being able to bring gospel music to schools and to teach children who are Christian children, non-Christian children, atheists, you name it. But the music is so inspirational, it's so lively, the kids just want to be a part of it. Even if their religion or their own faith or whatever they are doesn't like it and their parents don't like it, the kids want to be a part of it. And I give God thanks for opening this door for us.
Yes, yes, yes. That's awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, for those joining us on YouTube and Facebook, I'm grateful for that. Please share the video as well, those on the replay as well. But if I just sort of back up a bit and just say regarding the honor system, ladies and gentlemen, uh, it talks about it is made achievement. Honor system recognize people who have made achievements in public life, committed themselves to serving and helping Britain, usually have made life better for other people or be outstanding at what they do. They must still be actively involved in what you're nominating them for. The only honor which we can award for someone that is this is a gallantry awards, and what they say about this award this year is that 1,500 and 1,358 candidates have been selected at BEM, MBE, and OB level, uh, and they said 740 women are recognized, and also he said 13% of the successful candidates came from a BME background. Previous highest was 12% in 90, I think in 19, New Year 1919. And John, that is what you're talking about today, whereby you've got a record of it. Tell me about the gospel scene before we go on to the first. What is the gospel scene like now, and even with the COVID factor? Because I see things still happening. You know, I recognize that lots of direct, concerts are not happening.
Yes, well, it's like everything, the gospel scene is working virtually at this present time. Obviously, there's no concert that can be had. Musicians and singers are out of work, who are full-time musicians and full-time singers. But they are supporting their churches and they are doing things online. Up to the start of 2020, as you rightly said, it was a year where people were looking forward to 2020. I know for myself, personally, I had we started the year doing a few concerts. We released a single in February, and we were getting ready to tour the single for a lot of new material throughout March, April, May. And I had a drum show that I was going to pay drums for, and I literally, when COVID hit, I had to cancel upwards of 50 shows, which is my bread and butter, which was hard. And I can imagine for anybody else, I know of so many of my musician friends and groups and choirs that as soon as March hit and as soon as the lockdown came in, everything got wiped off the state, you know. But prior to that, the gospel scene was getting stronger. It was moving. You had a lot of the new bloods that was coming through, the millennials who were recording and putting material out. They were moving the gospel scene on a new direction, a new path. You still had some of the old boys like myself who were still doing what we're doing and holding it down and doing well. So there was a combination of new, old working together, giving the music exposure.
Yes.
And it was getting even more exposure and impetus from the introduction of people like Stormzy, who was performing straight up gospel songs at places like Glastonbury and stuff, you know. So it was just fueling the fire underneath gospel music, and it was just getting so exciting. But unfortunately, as I said, COVID hit, and it's like we're having to restart, get a reset. But you know, it is what it is, and we're enjoying it.
Yeah, we have to go through and stuff like that. The first person we're going to look at is, because, as I said, never had much time to do much research, so I said, you guys, you live and breathe and perform with these persons. I believe I met Lurine Cato, who's the person we're going to talk about at your event, actually, in one which you had, I think it was in Crystal Palace, if I'm not mistaken, or Croydon. Anyway, you're all over the place. You're hideaways, you know. You know, but tell us about Lurine Cato and the work that she's doing.
Lurine is an absolutely talented vocalist. She's a MOBO award winner. In fact, she was nominated for a MOBO award in the same year that I was nominated with the choir. Unfortunately, she won. But she won, and I love her for it. And we've been supporting each other ever since. As I said, she's a talented singer. She was given an award for services to music, as well as charity as well, because she's been working with what's the choir name now? Please forgive me, Lord. She was working with a choir run by a great friend of mine, Colin Anderson. And it was the sickle cell choir that sang on Britain's Got Talent. And so they were doing a lot to bring the awareness of sickle cell to the community and to the world as well. The B2B choir, I believe, or something like that. They're going to kill me for getting the name wrong. But she's been working behind the scenes. She's brought out, I think she's on album 3 or something, album number 4. She's had singles out. She's toured the world singing, and an absolutely phenomenal vocalist, and I love her to my heart. As I said, she was the first person to phone me at 1 o'clock this morning. I looked at the phone and thought, why is Lurine calling me at 1 o'clock in the morning? No, Lurine, you don't do that. You can't be at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Because she got a strong voice. She got a strong voice. Did she sang down the phone?
I could hear the airwaves, man. She's a great girl. I really appreciate her, and I appreciate her. And she's, as I said, she's supported me at so many different events. We support each other, and we love each other greatly.
So congratulations to Lurine Cato for the MBE and gospel singer. People, you can check her out as well, because I'm sure she's always developing and innovating and singing songs within the gospel circle as well. The next person that I have on the list here, which we have, is let me see, who is it? The next one is Marcia Dixon MBE. Tell us more about Marcia Dixon now. I mean, she's been in the circles for a while. She's like a veteran.
Marcia Dixon, another person who's been working for a long time. She is a writer, one of our main journalists in this country. She's been working with The Voice for many years, set up our own PR organization, and constantly promoting. She's been promoting gospel music and gospel related issues for many a year, and is highly respected as an individual as well. She's a good laugh. When she starts laughing, then you know you're in trouble. But she's worked very hard behind the scenes, promoting pretty much every gospel artist in this country. She works as a promoter as well, and a manager as well. She promoted Angie Lamar heavily over a few seasons. And she worked with her plays and stuff like that. And so she's someone that's highly respected as well, and another friend of mine for many years, and we talk regularly. In fact, we talked just a couple of days ago. The funny thing is that all of these people, I talk to them all the time, but because we were all individually, I recognize that we were all individually sworn to confidentiality. We couldn't get out of the bag that we were nominated.
There's an embargo.
So, it is. So it was such a surprise to see all these names as well. But Marcia is a great person.
And the whole essence of Marcia's role at this time within the whole fraternity is keeping things together, isn't it? While you guys are there running up and down, she's the one who's PRing and making sure that everything is flowing well, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. I've used her many times to help promote my own events.
Yes.
She has a massive mailing list, a massive links and ties to many different people. So she's definitely a good person to go to.
And also, I recall, which was good, I saw something that was in her honor, I believe, was it your church? Was it Lambeth Road? Or somewhere it was giving her some honor for the years of service that she's been doing. And it was really good that people honor people while they're alive, isn't it?
That is really important. I actually said that this week when I put a post up for one of my good friends, Michael Brown, guitarist, and I was just celebrating him. He's played on many of my albums that I've done, and I just wanted to show him some love, and a lot of people jumped on that post to say yes. He's a highly respected musician, and I think it's important that we give people props while they're alive, man. And our Bishop Pastor Nelson, back in the day, he would usually say, "Give me the flowers while I live."
Yes.
I mean, I can't enjoy the flowers when I'm dead. You know what I mean? And it's important that we do that for each other.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's right, because I always say sometimes that instead of waiting for others to give us accolades, okay, it's great that the Queen did, and also at the same time I know that you got some rumblings around saying we don't take empire. But of course the fraternity, or the English fraternity, is looking to see how they can maybe change the wordings of the whole empire to make it reflect. But all honor is good honor, even though you and I know that man will give the award, but our ultimate reward is from heaven still, and from God. But we still have to acknowledge while we're on earth, isn't it?
Most definitely, sir.
Yeah. So congratulations to Marcia Dixon and the work that she's doing, and we keep supporting her and what with her PR organization, and keeping the glue towards the community. Now, the next person now, which I have on the list, is Miss Karen Gibson, and I think everybody sort of know this lady because of her hair. Karen Gibson. Tell us about Karen Gibson. I guess you know of her, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you still hear me okay?
I can hear you, John. I can hear you. Can you hear, John? Everybody can hear? Yeah, I can hear you, John. Yes.
Yeah. So Karen Gibson, well, listen, a lot of people know of Karen. Karen came to the eyesight of thousands and thousands and thousands of people all over the world for her role and her choir's role in the Royal Wedding in 2 years ago for Harry and Meghan. But a lot of people may not know that Karen has been in this scene as long as I have, as a highly respected choir director, as a highly respected musician in her own right. She's done many workshops. She's at workshops all over the world. Her name in Europe is as big as, you know, any name that you can call out when it comes to musician or artistry. So she's highly respected. So don't get it twisted if people are saying, well, Karen only come on the scene a couple of years ago when she done the wedding.
Yes.
Nah, it's like 30 plus years of work that Karen has done in singing, gospel singing. There are thousands of artists that we know who will hold their hand up to say Karen Gibson was part of my journey as a singer and helped mentor me. And if you look down social media and read the accolades for Karen, you can see many people in there saying, thank you, Karen, because you were the one that introduced me to gospel music. You were the one that coached me or mentored me. And that's who Karen Gibson is, man. She's a hard worker and has done so much over many years.
Let's go back to you mentioned something there that people have been on the circuit, just toiling, doing things, giving God glory, based on the work that they do, and some of them are getting that breakthrough now. But a lot of people have been diligent, isn't it, John, amidst everything, and some of them just don't even look for the reward or the award. They're just serving God in the process, isn't it?
Well, that's the honest truth. I didn't ask for the award. I wasn't looking for it. I've been doing this thing now, I'm in gospel music for 40 years. And so I've had great times and I've had quiet times, I've had good times, I've had bad times. But the reason I do this is not for great pay. Well, it'd be nice to get the pay when it comes along, but it wasn't to get any big pay. In fact, I probably spent more on gospel music and promoting gospel music and promoting music and getting the word out more than anything else. And so if I didn't do this, probably I'd have a bigger house, I'd have X amount of cars outside the house, I would have had a whole load of other things. But I chose, and less like the other guys on this list, I chose to serve God in this way and use my skills and what I could do for his glory. And so, as I said, we weren't looking for it. We just, as you rightly said, Sylbourne, we were diligent at what we do. We got to a very excellent standard, and that's Karen Gibson, that's Lurine Cato, that's all of these guys. We just got to a very high standard in our work, and somebody down the road was watching.
Yes.
Somebody down the road was observing what we were doing and said, you know what, we need to whisper in some person's ear so that these guys finally get some respect and recognition.
And I think it's also in light of where we're at now with the major debates which are happening, Black Lives Matters, Black History Month, the whole changing of the narrative of what the history is, with the tearing down of statues. I believe the establishment is also recognizing that, hey, it's a new day, it's a new order, and everybody's got to step up to create this level of equality. And this is a part of the process, you know, and you know, at the end of the day, it's God's work. It's God's work, God's hand in the whole process. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, well done to Karen Gibson for the work that she's doing, and you know, and all the best to her. I think she's also in some commercial with those guys, isn't it? She's in some car commercials. Yeah. Sorry, John, you were saying?
No, yeah, you're right. You know, she's done a car commercial. They've done a whole lot in these last few years. Since the wedding. They haven't come off our TV screens for one reason or the other. So, you know, props to Karen and the team.
And the thing about it as well, what I recognize is, before I go on to Muyiwa, is that sometimes you know, the whole thing about cyberspace now is that you're online, you're on your timeline, and you see some figures coming up. You're not sometimes registering it. It's like it's on autopilot. But you can see there's a level of consistency over the years. And I can only speak, even for you, I can attest for that over the years, from I've been at New T and leave New T, go to KT and everything like that. But still there's a level of consistency which I've seen over the years through the ups and downs. I remember when those things got burnt up in that warehouse there. But John is still there. Still going. Huh?
Yes. I think you know what. You've just got to keep going,
Yeah.
and I think sometimes you have to recognize sometimes the hurdles that are thrown in your way,
Yes.
and that's the honest truth. You have to recognize some of the things that are put in your path to either better you or to try and knock you down.
Yes. Yeah.
And the fire situation was a situation that I believe was possibly sent to knock me down
Mm.
or to see what kind of character I would have. And I just had to rise above it and just keep on going, man. And God has been great.
I think there's a gospel singers in their starting. I forget what's his name. He said, "It's not to get you bitter, but to get you better." You know,
Yeah,
better. Okay, Muyiwa Olarewaju MBE.
yeah,
Um,
that's right. Well, let me just correct that for you. I should have said
is it wrong?
it is Muyiwa. It's Muyiwa, but it's OBE. That's the big one.
Okay, okay. Let me
Yeah,
make sure I
so
get
it's not
this.
MBE.
Yes.
Yeah. So Muyiwa Olarewaju OBE. It's a big one, man.
Okay.
He is an amazing gospel artist. He's coming from the African side of the tracks. He is an multi-award winning singer and producer, songwriter, recording artist. He is the station manager for Premier Gospel in town as well,
Yes.
and he's the director for there. So he's the one that's organized. He was the one actually was the first one that had a gospel show on Premier Christian Radio. He used to be on there every night at 11 o'clock. They gave him an hour, 2 hours to do a gospel show. And from there, they gave him the managership of the actual pilot of Premier Gospel Radio. And so he is somebody who has worked very hard. He has a show in the States called Viewpoint or something like that. And he's been working from the States to UK to Africa to UK to the Caribbean to UK. He is all over the world and he is very, very highly respected.
Mm. That's awesome, and that's Premier. It's a Premier Radio, which
That's right.
and I think as well. What I pick up is that he's a guy that dresses with excellence, isn't it? He always have this
Yeah, man. Yeah. He presents himself really, really well.
black excellence. What can I say? And of all the gospel stations now, I mean, before there was, I think David P had a program once on Choice FM, I believe. Dave P. Uh,
Mm.
but is it only Premier now, gospel wise, that the black community that leans towards the black community for the day?
No, there's a load of them out, Obviously, Premier Gospel is the main one
Yes.
on the airwaves, on the FM and DAB radio airwaves, Premier Radio, Premier Gospel, Premier Praise.
Mm,
Dave P moved away from Premier Radio some while ago and set up his own station called UGN
yeah.
um, for UTN Radio, and he's been running very successfully through that. There's a new one called Infinity X,
Yes.
which is another fully gospel station, and you've got other people like Alex Charles, who runs the stations weekly. There's a whole load of them that are out there at this present time, and as well gospel people who are taking up little slots on secular stations. They've got just like 1 hour slots here and there. So there's a load of gospel on the airways right now doing their thing.
Mm-mm. Okay, that's awesome. And the next person that we have now, congratulations to Muyiwa Olarewaju OBE for his award as well. The next person that I have on the list is Shirley McGreal. Um, I know of her because spoken to her a few times. She actually gave me some information today. MBE. What do you say about Shirley now?
Well, Shirley Matt has been really working very hard to establish and to continue the growth of Keep the Faith magazine,
Yes.
which is a major Christian publication. Um, she's been doing that for a number of years, and it has grown over the years. It's an excellent magazine, well produced. It looks good. When you get the hard copy of it, it's a lovely glossy finish, well written. Lots of good writers are in there, and we celebrate her. I don't know her as well as the others, but we have a mutual respect for each other, and we do from time to time.
Yeah, because one of the things that under leadership, Keep the Faith magazine has achieved national and international recognition as the UK's black and multi-ethnic Christian community magazine, and its editorial content has consistently shown the spotlight of the major issues. Keep the Faith has raised the profile of hundreds of community champions and organizations. Um, since 2006, Shirley has held many board level positions. She was also the CEO of Choice, not Choice, The Voice, at one point, The Voice newspaper, and as well. I was supposed to do a feature with her, but I think we just couldn't get the time around because of court and everything for myself. But yeah, but she's a person that you can reach out to and get information very quickly. That's what I know. Even today, she sent me some information when I was contemplating
Okay.
about doing this as well. She fed me with information. So congratulations to Shirley McGreal MBE as well. There's one more person that we're gonna go to, and that is before I come back to you, John, because I want to talk about your new album and some stuff that you're doing. But it is Mica Paris. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, and I saw her the other day. Where is it? Mica Paris. There she is. Um, yeah, tell us about Mica Paris now.
Well, Misha Paris, for those who don't know, she comes out of New Testament Church of God
Okay.
many years ago. She's an MBE now, but she was born into the church. We had family who were ministers, and she was one of our premier gospel artists many years ago.
Yeah.
In her own right, she sang with a group called Spirit of Watts, which was managed by a gentleman named Viv Broughton.
Yes.
But after a while, the group was good. The group was very good, but everybody saw her potential, and so she was offered a recording deal, and she went out on her own for a little while in gospel, and then she went out on the secular side. And her award was basically for 31 years of service to music in general. People would now see her on EastEnders. She's got a regular spot in there. And even a few weeks ago, BBC 4, she hosted a TV show talking about the history of gospel music as well. And shared about her journey with it as well. So she is somebody in both gospel field, although a lot of the new cats around won't know of her heritage in gospel. But definitely in the pop music scene, she is very, very highly respected as an artist.
Mm. And so she's out there and she very supportive. But she's like a veteran, isn't it, at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then last but not least, let me bring this gentleman up, which here we go now, and which is John Fisher. John Fisher. and John Fisher is BEM. Where is it? Where did John go? Oh, I brought up John and he went. I guess he's gonna come back shortly. Got missed out with John there for a second. Yeah. Oh, John said his picture sort of there's John. There's John back. There's John back. John, I'm laughing because your picture came up and then you went.
Well, it's a good replacement for me, bro.
It's a good replacement for you. Okay, Oh well, so John, you got the BEM as well. You've been on the circuit for a while, but you've got some new developments which is happening out there now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we're constantly working. I'm constantly working. I love writing songs. I love producing songs. I love rearranging songs. And so, along with today, to be honest with you, we didn't know that the announcement, I only found out about a week ago
Yeah,
that the announcement was going to be today. But we already planned to release a new song to the world to go in line with National or World Mental Health Day.
yeah,
And so we released a song called If I Can Help Somebody or Help Somebody. It's taken from a song made famous by
yeah,
Mahalia Jackson in the 1940s. And it's a classic song that's been sung in our churches, in our Pentecostal churches, for many, many years.
yeah,
But we just revamped it a little bit, put a bit of soul to it, and we put the song out with a gospel choir, a youth choir from Grenada called Touch of Grace.
yes,
And the whole project's been spearheaded by my friend, a girl who used to be in IDMC called Sylbourne Johnson. So it's to start the conversation, Sylvan, around our own culture, the Black culture, and
mm,
mental health.
yes,
And this is something that's not spoken about very often because it's stigmatized. Our people will turn around and say, don't follow that person, they're my idiot, you know what I mean, or words to that effect. And so people would not talk about mental health or mental strain because they were fearful of being classed as stupid or, you know, shake yourself off, man, don't be silly, you know what I mean? But we realize living in London or living in the first world, as it were, that this thing called mental health is a real deal. You know, depression is a real deal. Loneliness is a real deal. You know, COVID is causing a lot of people a lot of anguish, anxiety, all of these kind of things. And we just want to be able to help start the conversation or reignite the conversation on how we can deal with mental health.
mm. But if I just play this a bit there, John, let me just I'll just play a bit of the tune. A second.
10th of October 2020, and what a year it has been. It's a known fact that psychosocial support has increased due to the multiple challenges people have faced, ranging from anxiety, depression, and even isolation. And let's be honest, we've all had to adapt. But let me ask you something. What would it be like if you just reached out and helped somebody today?
Yeah, John. Yeah, powerful song there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And I pray that if your listeners watch the video,
Yes.
and the images that we try to mix in with the live footage, that they'll be inspired, they'll be encouraged, that they will not hold it in by themselves, but they will, you know, share. And if they are people that are in good standing and who feel comfortable, who are doing okay, then why not you phone people and people that you know that might be struggling, people that are maybe out of work or not well, give them a call and encourage them, let them know that they are not alone, but they are, you know, they've got friends that love them.
Well, you know, one of the things that the Jamaican government is being very busy with the whole COVID thing there, and recent days, the Minister of Health, Chris Tufton, said to persons, please go and look for your elderly, even though you know you got to have your social distance. Have a chat with them, talk with people, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are in isolation, you know, and people are scared of coming out. And you know, even with work, sometimes my colleagues, legal colleagues, sometimes I say to them something. I do a lot of walk in the morning. I've been doing that from April, when I did a show and we talked about what are the coping mechanisms, and then they challenged me and said, "What am I doing?" I said, "Okay, yeah, I'm going to do walk." So I start walk every day now. Every morning I start been walking. And it's been really good because you get outside. 'Cause a lot of people sometimes like you need that space. You need that space, and also you need people to talk to you. And it's a balancing act. So the minister said, "Go and talk to people. Put on your mask and everything, but speak to them. You know, don't. This total isolation will mess people up, isn't it, John?"
Most definitely. And like you, I've been on that walking tip as well, bro. You know,
Yeah.
just getting out, freeing my mind. I would like to think that I am quite a relaxed, level-headed person, but you know, I have moments where I struggle with life. I struggle with the circumstances that I'm in. Um, I all of my work dried up at the end of March.
Mm.
I haven't worked since March. All I've been doing is just being creative at home. As I said, doing projects, preparing projects. I started writing children's books, which people will hear about more at the end of this year, and just try to keep myself busy. You know, so they said, busy yourself. But I've been doing bits and pieces to keep myself active. Um, but I am a person who is a glass half full type of individual. I am a person who believes in God. I've got a very strong faith despite what goes on around us. Um, I wouldn't say I'm a highty flighty Christian who says, you know, when I'm in my darkest hour, you know, to God be the glory, everything is nice, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? If it isn't, then I'm just going to tell you the truth, you know what I mean? But I am a Christian who believes in the simple psalm, from Psalm of David, Psalm 34, verse 1, and I quote this all the time, and I don't make no apology for it, which simply says, "I will bless the Lord at all times, and His praises will always be in my mouth." I could be worse off, I could be dead. Then you know, it could be so much worse for me, but it isn't. I am here, and I've got health, and I've got strength, and so with that in mind, with a positive mind, with a great family around me, I try to encourage, I try to inspire. Through the work that I do, I try to encourage, I try to inspire. With the choir that I have, IDMC Gospel Choir, when we go out and sing, I do not know who's in the audience. I don't know who's sitting in front of me. But all I know, they're coming to my show to enjoy what I have to offer and be blessed by it. You know, so I've just got to do what I've got to do.
Yeah. And it's interesting what you say right there about, you know, you're creating these new things. And what I found out is that a lot of people during this COVID time, some of the uncharted waters, are finding other skill set, other things that they can tap into. Because sometimes even God sometimes wants people to stop and to chill and to listen. But this is a moment where everybody had to stop and listen and say, hey, I need to maybe do something differently. When they talk about the new lockdown, a few people were saying, wow, I've got another opportunity now to maybe go back to try to do what I was supposed to do because I didn't get to do it during the previous lockdown. You know what I'm saying, John? You know? So
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, we catch ourselves. And there are a lot of people who are choosing not to come to church, and that's really their choice. People are not that comfortable with it. That's their choice at the end of the day. I struggle with it sometimes because I was saying people are going to work and they're traveling on the buses and they're going into the supermarkets, but they can't come to church. Hey, who am I? If that's your thing, then that's your thing. You know what I mean? But God is within us, and I think we've just got to be able to give Him thanks wherever we are, whether you're at home, whether you're on the bus, whether you're walking, whether you're running, or whether you can come to His house. Give Him thanks wherever you are, and continue to recognize Him in your life.
And that is true there about church there, because my wife, she leads the worship at our church, and so we've been doing a lot of this streaming from home, and now we're back to church now, social distance, and I go because of the children as well. But now I'm involved now with the streaming system at the church now, so and people have to sort of get back into things. But one last thing before I go, just about COVID. Do you see this as something whereby we're going to go back, or you see it as something where a few people are saying shut down, keep us back inside, or you see it as a way we've got to move forward and learn to evolve with it and adapt ourselves with the social distance and mask and everything?
You know what? COVID, a lot of people saying that COVID come in January. COVID's been with us for years. A lot of people don't know that. If you look at your Dettol bottle or your bleaches and stuff like that, on them you will see this protects against cold, flu, and COVID, and Corona is on these bottles. So Corona's been around for a while. It's just that this new strain of Corona has come up on a whole nother level. You know what I mean? So people got to understand we've been living with this for years. It's just that it's come up on a whole nother level. I think we have to get to that place. We have to be wise. We have to be careful. And we have to live with Corona because it's going to be around for a while. We know that they've got these viruses that they're developing. And please don't listen to Donald Trump because these are issues. Because the scientists, and we pray for our scientists, we want them to do the right job and do it well under God. But they are working very hard to create these remedies for us. And remedies, from what I hear, what I understand, what I read, still got a little way to go because they've got to do all the testing. Although they've worked at rapid speed to get these viruses and get these symptoms together, they've got a while to do a lot of testing before they open them up to the general public. So we still got months to go. So for now, we have to be wise. We have to wear our masks. We have to social distance. We have to eat well. We have to take our vitamins and X, Y, and Z to keep us healthy, and live with the situation that we are in. For a lot of people, it's not comfortable because the government is getting ready to shut down a lot of the businesses again. And that means that there's going to be a lot of people who, the buildings are going dormant now, where companies cannot literally survive. And my prayer is that as a people, as a society, that we will survive this Corona or COVID-19 situation so that we can open up the shops. People can feel safe to shop and get on with life generally.
Yeah, you're right about that. We got to move on as much as possible. And God is not dead, God is alive, and it's not a spirit of fear. We got to move without fear as well. John, listen, I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight. Congratulations on the award and for the various persons which we touched base on tonight. I'm going to see if I can get their names. Shirley McGreal, Mica Paris Muyiwa OBE. I didn't go further than Muyiwa.
I've known him for years. I don't go further than Muyiwa either.
Marcia Dixon, Mica Paris, Karen Gibson, John Fisher. Of course, there's Kerry Grant, David Grant's wife, and many others. And we give them great God blessings upon them and for the recognition and for those. As Denzel Washington said, when some people are saying why Denzel Washington never got an academy, Denzel Washington said, "Listen, man, God, man gives the award, but God gives the reward." No, is that right? Man gives the award, but God gives you the reward. Even though now he has gotten all these various awards and stuff like that. Yeah. So John, listen, thank you so much for that. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and thank you for this quick show and for joining us. Those on replay, remember to like and subscribe to the Sylbourne Show on YouTube and Facebook as well, and tune in to the new album or the new single by John, which is "Help Somebody 2020" featuring IDMC and TOG, which is on YouTube. And John, if Facebook, if YouTube come and say copyright infringement, you take John's stuff, I can just say, I can send a message from here, give a voicemail to them.
That's right. That's right. You got the right to do it.
I got the right to do it. Well, I hope they're listening. Right. I hope they're listening and hear that you say you got the rights. You know what I mean? Because I tell you, the whole social media thing with Facebook, everybody's just a bit very touchy with this whole copyright infringement, and they never take down these killings and these murders and these horrible things out there.
Well, hey, brother.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay, John, peace out and all the best.
Bless you, mate.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Cheers. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night, and we thank you so much, and tune in to next week as well, and we'll have a special. Enjoy your weekend, and all the best. Peace out.